Hello, Irish, and welcome to your deck review. For those of you joining us on YouTube for the first time, this is a series where I, Mauledhound, a known hater and douche, will politely and lovingly review your commander deck's PP. Your PP being your premise and your practicum. Your premise is the idea behind your deck. For this deck, it appears to be a pile of big dudes. Your practicum is the stuff in the 99. It's what actually happens. It's what goes wrong in between the beautiful tapestry you have woven in your head and the 28 lands you put in the actual deck. So we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about this deck builder's idea, whether or not it will work in the bracket they want it to work in, or if they will have to make some type of compromise to it. And then we will look at what they have in the deck and what we can adjust there. Now, this is an Animar deck that has gone through a number of edits already. So Animar, pro white black, when you cast a creature spell, it gets bigger and it reduces your creature spells by colorless for each counter on Animar. Crazy fucking good commander, and they know it. They have had a kitchen table Animar Storm deck for a long period of time, but now their playgroup is having children, so they don't think the playgroup is going to last much longer. And right now they're kind of straddling the line between bracket 3 and bracket 4, and they actually want this to go down to solid bracket 3 without losing what makes it fun. So we have, it looks like we are cutting how quickly we can storm off. This is how many Animar decks like to do it. They get to, I can cast something for free and that can draw my library, get my storm count high, bada bing, bada boom, you're all dead, bam, bam, bam. We would like to smooth that out, but our problems are we are folding pretty hard to board wipes. If Animar gets targeted, and they own that he should be targeted, but if he gets successfully targeted 2 to 3 times, I'm cooked because the mana curve of this deck is really, really high. But even though the mana curve is high, somehow we don't have enough threats to win with because we cut the Storm Burn package that was formerly the cornerstone of the deck. We feel like we have enough ramp, but feel like we can run out of card draw. Uh, And then we have a couple pet cards we want to keep around. We really like stuff that gets angry at other people casting non-creature spells. So we have Rurik Thart. We have Rurik Thar. We have Heartwood Storyteller. This draws you cards when other people cast non-creature spells. And so we would like there to be a sub-theme of I care about what you are casting. Stop being a child. Stop casting these instants and sorceries. I'm only casting creatures. Why don't you just cast creatures? The only thing I think we have to compromise here is the idea that we want to involve the rest of the table so that I'm not just playing solitaire. For this type of deck, you involving the table is when you say pass and they're not dead yet. If we want to really lean into being the threat, if we want to do all of this with a creature only package, if we want to punish them for playing things that aren't creatures, punish them for not smacking face, we can 100% make that happen. But the hang up is going to be your involvement or your interaction is I'm the arch enemy, come get me. And if you don't come get me, okay, we're passing to my turn and I'm going to hit you incredibly hard. So let's go to the deck list and see what we've got going on. So my first thought for how we would fix this, how we would make it like really, really cleanly be an Animar deck that did not fold as hard to a board wipe, did not fold as hard to removal, would be to utilize ramp, obviously, but utilize ramp in a way where Animar kind of became the garnish instead of the primary engine behind us being successful. And so normally I'm always, I see you have a lot of ramp here. Normally I'm all in on like jam it in, jam it in, jam it in. If they get you, they get you. For this deck, I think if they get you really hard. And now we want this deck to be, we still want this deck to be primarily creatures. So how do we resolve that? There are a few creatures that will allow us to get land drops, that will allow us to put uh to put lands onto the battlefield directly. So my first thought would be we take some of these things, like the Filer of Instinct, greedy card, right? Like this card is here for when I have 5 or something counters on Animar. I'm trying to go crazy storm style on it, and I just need to cut off these red pips from anything I'm casting. And so I think if we took some of these greedier options, which I would call Lava Leaper. I love Primeval Herald, but Lava Leaper, um, Tender Wild Guy. Well, Tender, I like Tender Wild. It's flexible. It's flexible. Wild Cantor for sure, actually. But Lava Leaper, Wild Cantor, Kami, Gwenna, and then these two Defilers, because this one draws you cards. And I think if we looked for anything that was a creature that netted you netted you land advantage, do we even have these? Type. Sorry, I have a cord over my keyboard. Get out of here. Because we're not playing any of these fuck ass instants and sorceries. So like Burnished Heart could be free with Animar, could get us two lands out. Um Kodama could give us a way to convert Animar's damage into like a little bit more of a damage threat because now he's going to have trample. That trample is going to get us lands to field. I don't know if we have enough other um, counter synergies that it would work. Farhaven Elf can do it. Horizon Explorer can do it. Although this one's not nearly as good because it creates a lander token, which we then have to pay more mana to fucking to do. Um, Howdy fucking duty, Earth King could do it. I think the biggest problem with many of these is they search for basics. Oh, your basic count is decently high. Like you would start failing to find after a certain point, but I think at the point you're failing to find basics, you're a pretty happy camper. Because then we've taken so many lands out of the deck. The deck has been thinned to a meaningful degree, so now it's less likely that you're gonna flood in the late game. And most of these guys, by the time you have played them or by the time you have passed your turn and can get board wiped, you have gotten the value that you want out of them. And so now it's not like, fuck, I lost a Filer of Instinct and Animar. Now all of my shit costs way too much. That would be my first thought for the ramp section specifically. The other thing I'm thinking is how many things don't have card draw stapled on that we can staple card draw onto? And I think what worries me, not what worries me, I think what stands out to me most is we have a lot of creatures that set up an engine for us to draw more cards later, and not as many things like Lord of Change that just like card please now, yes, good. Because many of these engines, they will be more vulnerable than Animar to removal. If we ever get to a point where we go like, okay, engine pass, and then we get board wiped, oh my god, we're so fucked. Uh, and we're God, creatures only is insane though. So what do we have? I'm trying to think of a good example. So like Vaultborn Tyrant, I think would be a step up because this is creature fall, but when it dies, we get a token copy of it. So they have to kill it twice, which I think does better than something like Soul of the Harvest. Even though Soul of the Harvest is doing it for any creature, and this is only doing it with power 4 or greater, I think a fair amount of this deck should be pretty big. Maybe not. Maybe that's our problem, actually. Because you were talking about how we have some difficulty closing, even though. Oh, yeah. Oh. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, what the fuck? Oh! No! All right, I think this section is your problem, Loki. So let's work through it. I know you want to be interactive, so I don't just want to tell you to totally cut this section. But I do think this section is going to create a lot of friction in your deck because this section is encouraging you to hold up a lot of mana, which like we can flash them in so we don't totally lose out on tempo, but I'm trying to imagine how these are going to interact with the stuff that wants us to play our creatures out. Like it is a lot of slots in the deck for creatures that one suck at fighting, two I think we could build in such a way that we did not need them. Like if we are playing these to protect Animar specifically, if we were playing these to duck a board wipe, different story because board wipes are always going to hurt, even if we make the changes that I talked about to the ramp section. But if we're doing this to prevent targeted removal of Animar because Temur is such a good color combination, I would view that as a symptom of a deeper problem because it seems like there's going to be a lot of times where we're drawing these guys instead of drawing things that can win the game. We're drawing these guys instead of drawing things that can be our draw engine to win us the game. Um, and then we have things that are neat. Sure. Sure, haste enabler is not bad. Um, yeah, I'm not doing Animar math with these. I'm like 5 mana for this. I'm like, no, it's 2 mana. My fault. It's 2 mana. My bad. Uh, sure. I Yeah, I think overall what's standing out to me is we have such a critical lack of standalone threats. Like I think your standalone threats are Bahamut, Maelstrom Wanderer. So like this section minus Stormscale Scion because you have to storm for this to matter. So we have 6 threats here. I would call Rurik Thar a pretty compelling threat. And then like nothing else is. Everything else is just meant to hook into this big Lego device. And so I think what would do a lot for you is trying to redefine as much of the deck as you could around if I played this creature by itself without Animar, would it be a problem? The example I always return to for this is O'Hare Castlem. For any green deck, I think you have to have a very, very compelling reason to not be running him. You have to have a very compelling thematic reason or a very compelling financial reason because he has a fucking $7 card, which is ridiculous. Um, but you play him, big guy who will get me more big guys. Fucking problem for you. If I play, if I play Animar, fucking problem for you. Big guy is going to be hitting you over and over, and non creature spells damage you. I play Bahamut, big fucking problem for you. I chain together Peregrine Drake, Gwenna, Defiler of Instinct, Vizier of the Menagerie, and Toski, and then I pass. We're worried about what might happen on your next turn, but you've introduced 0 actual problems. And so I think a lot of this deck, or I think a lot of the feeling for bracket 3 specifically, because this makes sense to me that it's been built this way because it was previously built around a more deterministic combo package. And so it's like, of course, we have to play all this interaction. We have to protect the combo turn. Of course, um, we need like all of these draw engines because the moment I get the engine set up, I'm going to win. Now that we have removed the decisive win from the engine step, I would be trying to slam in just way more like one off. This guy's going to fuck you up. Like you talk about a draw engine. How about I punch 6 cards out of you, dog? How about I punch you in the head so fucking hard, brother? Like this is more of what I would be on where if we can probably ramp to this without Animar because we have so much ramp. It is a big enough creature to be a relatively compelling threat on its own. If we get it with a haste enabler, amazing. And even if we don't get it with a haste enabler, we can force people to do blocks they don't want to do. We can have a different thing that might draw removal ire. Because if you have like Animar on one counter and you have Starwinder, they might shoot Starwinder first. Like I would be way more worried about you drawing 7 cards than I would about like, oh, your stuff is 1 cheaper, but they only have 3 cards in hand. Because this looks like a deck that dumps its hand early in the hopes of being able to untap and then go crazy. And I think the way we smooth this out for bracket 3 and have it be satisfying is you have more things where it's just like, I play this one guy, I'm pretty fuck, man, I'm pretty cool. Shit. Shit, I'm pretty okay. So let's see what else we can get. I don't love draw engine, but I think we can look at other big card advantage creatures. So we're gonna do card advantage type creature, mana value greater than or equal to 5. You can pay for some stuff. You know, it depends on how you feel about the game changer situation. As game changers go, this would be a very good one and would be a very good example of exactly what I'm talking about. Like, it's going to provide you value much more quickly. It will be a self-contained threat much more easily than something like Beast Whisperer. But it just won't be as like uh I get to combo off proactively with it. Fucking Atali for sure. Combustible Gear Hulk is great at it. First striking 6/6 again creates a lot of combat damage pressure, and with the CMC of your deck, it would be very risky for people to mill you and then let you play this. Um, Shit, actually, you should be rating things like Trumpeting Carnosaur higher. People don't believe it, even though it's like a $2 card right now. People don't believe in it as much as they should. It is creature based, uncounterable removal. It's not great removal, but it is still removal. It will replace itself on ETB. This can get a dork out of the way. This can get, don't keep the interaction creatures, but it could get an interaction creature into your hand. If you have some good 5 mana options, you can get one of those into your hand. I mean, shit, it could get Garruk's Pack Leader out. Uh, Silverback's kind of tough. This guy's a great interaction option. Unfortunately, he has 3 pips, which is not ideal for you. Regal Behemoth is actually a thing I would like to see more than Lava Leaper. Oh no, Lava Leaper is also a haste enabler. Never mind, I forgot about that. But this is the type of thing where it's like, okay, I am the Monarch. I'm getting a card on end step. If you do anything but counterspell this guy, I'm getting my card on end step, and I'm going to be playing such big, fat creatures anyway. I can probably take it back from you, right? If we get board wiped, nobody's taking it from me, and I just play a giant guy, and I hit you, and then we're good. Emoti would be insane value greed. This might be a fun card for you if you want to do a little gambling as a treat. Um, Zagana's another tough one because the effect is really good, but it's like 2/3 pips, which is devastating for you. Oh, I think Vorinclex is another good example of like I'm gonna play a big guy. I'm gonna get lands to hand. I'm gonna have an activated ability I can dump mana into that will net me additional advantage. But my primary advantage is he beats the fuck out of you. I play him and he beats the fuck out of you. And so if like we look at what this deck is currently doing, we didn't hit any of our ramp, which is sad. But we're gonna get our mana fixed. Bam, Animar. We're flying under the radar. We get to go Cloud of Fairies, untap lands, that gets a counter on. Uh, and then for one cheaper, we get to do Toski, that gets a counter on. And let's pretend we get to pass from here, nothing bad happens to us. So here, we have a 3/3, a 1/1 flyer, so we'll get one card off of Toski here. Draw a card here. Alright, what does the Ingester do? We get to remove something, that's cool. Everything's 2 less. We only have 1 basic land type, so we can't do that. We could do AC. Sure. Play an additional land, draw an additional card. But we probably don't get through here. We get another counter on. Play here, play here, play here, play here. And like, this is good. We have our draw engine, so we're really starting to run away with it. And we have like no ass beating potential. Just 0. There's almost negative ass beating potential. Like maybe the 5/5 will get in. The 4/4 I don't think will get in. The only way we're gonna beat any ass is to slam Bahamut. 3, 4, 5, 6. Go up to another counter. Um, and like we have our for fun card, Heartwood Storyteller, but this is really the part where if we get board wiped, um, we cope and seethe, and we can get around it in this hand because we have the counterspell morpher. But if we're complaining about, or not complaining, but if we're worried about the times that it does happen, I think we're worried about the times it does happen because we just don't have as many guys who are self-contained. I'm gonna get shit done. Like in this specific instance, I would rather Toski be Oher Kaslam. I would rather Cloud of Fairies be literally anything else. This is only in the deck, it seems, as a way to go like, okay, free counter on Animar. That is good, but for this more mid-rangey bracket 3 strategy, I would rather do a little bit of ramping and then just go threat, 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 threat. Straight up. Like Phyrexian and Jester is good. There are other things we can do to put our interaction package onto our creatures. We can do things like Apex Altasaur. This one's really, really good at just clearing off the whole fucking board. Inferno Titan's another good one. This lets us shoot down all the like little synergy creatures really, really easily. Um, if you want some dumb cards that are not good but are enjoyable, any of the Miojins would probably be wonderful for you. Maybe not Life's Web, because you can already put most of your creatures into play. But these are again like pip heavies. You can be like, Maul, these are inefficient. These don't like benefit as heavily from Animar's specific sauce. And like, yeah, that's kind of the point. I think what's gonna make this deck feel better in bracket 3 is to lean into Animar's specific sauce a little bit less, because Animar's specific sauce wants you to go non-deterministic combo turn really, really quickly. And it sounds like that is what we're trying to step away from to bring this back from the edge of bracket 4. But we can for sure get a pile of like um really threatening creatures. We can have more creatures that do first draw instead of needing us to do a different thing to draw. So hold on. We talked about Gear Hulk. Do you have Disciple of Freyalise? No, we're insane. Disciple of Freyalise. Yesterday, please. Where was this fucking tag? There it is. Disciple of Freyalise. Immediately. Shit, dog. You could play Ancient Silver. You have Hydroid Krasis, which I do like. I really like Zagana, but it is just so many fucking pips. This is not a creature on the front side. We have Tashana. Dakarian Infiltrator is kind of cute. That scales. The thing is, he doesn't beat ass, and our problem is already that we don't beat enough ass. I like Subterfuge more. Like, I like more things that will let us draw more than one card on the turn that we play it. That is the bar that I would be using. I would not be playing as many things that are meant to draw me 20 cards if I get the chain going, and I would be playing more things that said I played this turn, so I get 3 to 5 cards. Thank you very much. Because those 3 to 5 cards will get you your land drop for next turn and draw you enough that you're not going to flood. It's going to draw you into your next threat. It might draw you into a protection spell, which I do think you will find you are able to go down on once we adjust the ramp to be a little bit less greedy. Like my angle for ramp on this deck would be It lets me play Animar earlier, or it lets me get lands into play. And if it can't do those two things, I don't think I would be playing it. I think I would rather be playing more card draw instead, because lands are the big resource that are going to let us rebuild, let us play big threats after Animar does get killed. And is there anything else we can do that is Rurik Thar related? Cares about hate non-creature, phenomenal. There's Nezahal. Uh, Cabbage Merchant's kind of funny. Make foods you can turn into mana of any color, which helps solve the pit problem for Animar. I don't think I would recommend this on its own merits, but if you do want to be hating on non-creatures, this is a great one to do it. Uh, yeah, the rest are not really phenomenal because we don't have a lot of stuff in this deck that is going to buff our creatures. So if you wanted to do that, you could switch to some sort of like big +1/+1 counter shell and then utilize like Gleeful Arsonist and Polywog Prodigy better, but that's a big change that I think is going to be a little too unwieldy for what you want to accomplish here. So I would stick with the big notes that I've given you here. Play more threats. Play more things that get you cards immediately instead of relying on other things, and have more ramp that gets you lands to field rather than ramp that lets you float 8 million mana if things are already going well. Don't change your land count. I wish you the very best, and I do hope this helps.